Hi, welcome, and thank you all for joining us today. As you already know, today we'll be going over some of the exciting new features and updates from our 21.0 release, which went live on the 29th. You might have already started using some of these features or notice others, like the inclusion of Czech amongst our other international languages, but there might be a few you haven't had a chance to look at yet. So we'll be running through the enhancements of the platform, including our new platform integrations, extended CDE capabilities, and upgrades to the Field app. Just to introduce myself, my name is Lola and I'm a Senior Communications and Content Executive at Asite, and I'll be hosting today's call. Joining me today is Sharline Walton, one of our platform's customer success specialists, and Arushan Mahendrakumar, Asite's digital engineering consultant. I'll hand the call over to Sharline shortly, who will talk you through the release, but while I get comfortable, a few items of housekeeping. The webinar should take no longer than an hour start to finish. If you have any questions over the course of the demo, please type them into the chat function and a member of the team will get back to you over email. However, if you have questions not related to the release or regarding your Asite workspace, please contact your account manager. So now I'll hand you over to Sharline.
Thanks, Lola. Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all well and having a lovely sunny day so far. So without further ado, my name is Sharline, as Lola just introduced, and I'll be going through the platform with you and all the enhancements that we've covered so far. So a couple of things that we will be going through, as you can see on our agenda, we've got point number 1, which will be in reference to our reporting element. So what enhancements have we made in our reporting element? The Power BI integration, what does that mean for you as a customer? What can you see on our Power BI integration? The enhanced CDE feature. So what are the new exciting bits and bobs that we've added in for your use? The field management. So what can you do offline? Can you view these documents offline? Things like that. We've then also got Arushan, who will cover point number 4 and number 5, which will be covering all the new CBIM capabilities. So what exciting stuff have we introduced within the new CBIM in our model viewer? Please do stay tuned in for this one. And as well as all the extended collaborative app integrations. What does that actually mean? Do stay tuned in and wait for that bit. Without further ado, I'm going to cover off and I'm going to navigate over to the first point on our agenda, which is the Power BI integration and the reporting element. So I'm just going to switch screens. Now, as you can see, I'm looking at our dashboard at the moment. Asite is delighted to announce that Microsoft Power BI, the cloud-based business analytic, has been integrated with our Asite platform. Power BI reports can now be embedded into the Asite platform dashboards, enabling you to have fast and easy access to users' projects' data. The new integration will allow Asite users to aggregate, analyze, visualize, and share their data on Asite via Power BI reports. The accessibility to this data will enable the users to make more data-driven and more informed decisions. Now, as part of the integration, as you can see at the moment, we've got one part element of our reporting dashboard, which is the common data environment. However, we have also got access to 3 others, which will be the defects dashboard, which is great because it can show you a clear validation on your green and on your orange and on your blue, what's been completed, what hasn't, and health and safety reports and project financials. The project financials one is a real good one to get into. Now, please don't hesitate to reach out to your customer success consultant or your Asite consultant, your principal consultant, to go through how we can get this and this Power BI dashboard looking for you. So what does that mean for a customer? Essentially, if you imagine you're walking into a meeting and you would like to have just a quick snippet of what's happening on the project, where we are financially, what's outstanding, this is the perfect thing. As you can see, it shows you what's overdue, what the actual data is as well. So please don't hesitate to reach out over to us at Asite and we can cover that for you. Now, the second element of this first part of our agenda is the reporting. So what have we improved in our reporting? Now we'll navigate over to our tabs here. You'll notice my tab has got reports next to it there. However, if you can't find it, please do click on the More tab and you will find reports will pop up in here. Now I'm just going to select reports. Now, as you can see, the reports side is now just loaded. And again, guys, do be mindful, we are still working from home, so hence why my internet may not be as quick as it should be. So Left-hand side, you've got your buttons over here. There's a plus button here. And if you hover over that, it says create new report. Now, when I select to create a new report, there are 4 options that come up. I've got Express View, Advanced Report, Dashboard, and Express Report. Now, I'm just going to show you the Express View and show you how you can manage that, and then that can actually be created and become one of your advanced reports. Now, we click on the Express View. The one thing I really love, because we've done a massive upgrade onto our reports area, you can see a pop-up screen appears here. So it tells you, welcome to the Express View Designer. Drag and drop to explore your data to make quick reports called Express Views. Now, you might be in the office, you just want to see how many documents have been uploaded on a certain date, things like that. So let's hit the Learn How button. Now you notice it's got a little pages, so it's 1 to 11 data fields. So it tells you, here are your data fields, add your data columns to your report simply by dragging these fields from the left panel into the canvas. So the canvas is the middle area here, the gray area. Now if I hit next, you'll see it takes me to each and every section. Please do take time. These pop-ups don't go away unless you tell them to anyway. So you can run that report after you drag the fields that you want into that area. Once you're happy with that report, let's say you've got the right amount of columns, you can save this or you can export it. So you can export it to PDF, you can export it to Excel if you wish to as well. You can download it and it automatically goes straight into your computer and you can share it. So the reporting functionality has been made easier. You can refresh the data, so you're seeing the most recent data. If we go to next, you can actually choose, how do you want this to look? Do you just want it to be columns? Would you like to have some bar graphs? Would you like some donuts? How would you like your report to look? And again, as you can see, you've got a user selection menu here. It tells you this is where you can format some of your data if you wish to as well. What style do you want it to be? Do you want it to be in a green color? Do you want it to be in a purple amethysty color? You can do, so you can play around with a lot of this. Now, sorting this particular data, you've built your report, it's exciting. However, the information that's produced is showing up in a descending order. However, you want it to be in ascending order. You can simply sort it by clicking buttons there over on the right. You can filter this information. Now, filtering may to you mean we've got all the information or we've built our report that may have been in reference to a particular project or a particular time frame. However, within that data, I only want to see files that are in reference to the documents folder or the drawings folder. You can filter that information using this reporting tool. Now, again, please don't hesitate to book in with our training team and they will happily go through all of this reporting training with you as well, okay? We've got the visualizations, like we were saying, you can have the different shapes. Do you want it a bar graph? Do you want it to look like line graphs? However way you want to. Now, you can see the last point I wanted to show you was point number 11. Now, you can see in here, it says to you, once you've built your report, you can now also rename your Express View, move or copy it and export it to an advanced report. So you've built your basic report, make it into your advanced report. Okay, so now I'm just going to hit the finish button. Let's go ahead, let's build our own report, okay? Now I'm just going to use the first one here over on the left. I'm just going to use a Doodle Files and Actions. Now you can see all I've done is maximized those data fields. So what would I like to appear in my report as such? I definitely want the document purpose of issue, so I would drag that across. I definitely want my document reference to appear in that report. I would like my status to appear in there as well. And in an ideal world, let me just scroll down. Oh, I would like the folder name to appear. Now you can see you can move that across as to where and where you want it to appear, which is great. And then lastly, I would like to see who's published that document. So I'm just going to drop that in there. Okay, now you can literally drag these fields across as to how you want it to look. So you're organizing your report how you want it to be viewable. Now I've got this report. I know at the top here I've got my Asite webinars project, and all I'm going to do is just hit the run button and wait for the data to pull out. Now, as you can see, this is great. It tells me the document, tells me the folder name, tells me the purpose of issue, tells me the document status, tells me the publisher. Now, this is what I would like my report to look like. As you can see, we've got 4 different pages here. If I wish to scroll across to the next page, all I have to do is just literally hit those little arrows. Now, as you can see, as I go across, we've got all the files and they're pulling up all the documents across. Now, I can save or I can export this data. Now, but do you know what? I want to make it a little bit fancy. So I want to put a few graphs and stuff in there. So I'm going to hit the stop button at this point, okay? And as you can see, remember we had those icons that we could play around with. So let's have a look at this chart. If we hit the chart button, it automatically brings up some information. So it tells me here, document reference, I've got 15 in here, 45, you know, things like that. I've got the different amounts that it's counted it to. Now, if I go over to the right, you can see, oh, that's showing up in a graph going horizontally. However, I would like my graph to be vertical. It can change it around. Or in this case, maybe you want it to be a pie chart. You can change this data around, okay? Or if you'd like it to be a line graph, you can simply just play around with this data. Now, as you can see, let's go across to some of these icons. Now, we've got this one here, which says selected cell. Now, what I want to do is I want to find the cell, okay? And once you've selected it, can you see what's happened? It's highlighted it across here. Now, if I want to change the font, now I may want it to be this font, it will change it for you. Do you want it to be bold? Do you want it to be a different color? As you can see, well, probably that color is not the best one. Maybe let's go for a bright, bright color. There you go. And you can see it automatically changes that for you. And again, as we go across, you've got the reporting formatting style that we were talking about earlier. You can customize this and you can change this if you want to have a purple theme, if you wish to. If purple's not quite your color, we can go with just a standard legacy, which is just the standard black and white with a few dots here and there. And you can play around. And again, you can add in colors. Now, the good part about this as well for you can play around and you can customize it, make it your own report. Now, the sorts, this was the descending and ascending of data. How would you like it to look? We've then got the filter option. Now, the filter option, I just want to show you in this case, you click on the filter. Now, if I go in and I say, I'm actually going to drag the publisher one. So I only want to see files that were added in by one of my users, maybe Sally Solutions, for example. I can literally, as you can see here, just to repeat that action for you, I can click on it, highlight it, a hand icon appears, drag that across into the box here at the top, and then automatically it brings this screen up. So I'm just going to move this across up at the top. Asks you, do you want this data to equal to a certain area, or are you happy to change the format you want it to be? Now I'm going to click on the drop down. It's going to show me all the different people that are in there. So for example, in this case, I'll just add myself. Let's see all the documents that were added in by myself. And this is all you have to do. It filters this information for you. And then all you do is just hit the run button. So this is one way we've played and we've spent a lot of time investing and doing some work to our reports. Now you can see what's appeared here. It's now having all those files which are in relation to this published by myself. Okay, now to summarize, the first element of our 21.0 features that we've enhanced, the first thing was our dashboard. So you can see we've got a Power BI dashboard. Power BI, we've integrated with Power BI, where you can have different types of dashboard that are viewable for yourself. Financials, either health and safety, or it might be defects report, or standard, just to see what's going on your CDE. Think of this in the context of your directors need to have a clear view of exactly what's happening on the dashboards. This is the easiest way to do it for you on the Power BI. However, you have also got the enhanced added feature of our reporting engine. Now you can see how easy that was, and you do still have the step-by-step instruction to go with that. Brilliant. Okay, I'm going to navigate over to our agenda and see what's next on our agenda. So we've covered point number 1, which is our reporting in Power BI. The next part of our CDE and our 21.0 features is the enhanced CDE features. Now, I'm just going to navigate over to here. Now, what have we added in, which is quite cool and quite quirky and very, very useful for you? We're going to go over to the files area, okay? Now, without further ado, within the files area, you still have your left-hand side, your folders that you have. Now, we've added a few things which are really, really cool in the files area. Now, I'm going to right-click. As you can see, there was a file that was uploaded today. We're on revision number 2. This is the document reference. These are the plans of works. Now, if I right-click on this file, you have got the option to automatically save a file as a PDF. I appreciate in this context, we've got it as a PDF already. However, if these documents were Word or Excel, when you right-click on a file, you have this functionality of saving it as a PDF automatically, and it's there for you if you wish to. Something else we've introduced within our right-click features is if you right-click on your file, whichever file that you're looking at, you right-click and hover over new, we've added in this new button here called revision. This means you can auto revision a file from a right-click. Okay, so I'll explain that again. You can automatically revise your file straight from a right-click. I'll do that bit again. Right-click on your file, new, you've got revision. Now, once I select the revision button, you'll see it takes me over to my training files. Now, I can't remember what file it was at this point in time, so I'm just going to select fiber layout. You'll notice something. It automatically comes up with a pop-up here at the bottom saying the selected file already exists for different document reference. Select a new file. Now, that is great because it means I've tried to upload a fiber layout file over a Reba plan of works document. However, if I right-click, hit the new button, hit revision again, if I go and find my next revision of my plan of works, you notice that pop-up doesn't appear because it automatically recognizes it for you. Now, the screen now appears. It shows me my standard upload screen. And again, if I hover over my revision box, it tells me my previous revision, as you can see, is number 2. I'm going to say this one, in our case, is number 3. The document title is going to stay the same. The purpose of issue at this point, I'm just going to say it's for the record. And the status at this point is a work in progress. If I wish to distribute this to one of my colleagues for them to add in any new comments or anything, I can click the little paper plane or the distribute files button over on the right. Simply select that. But I can see on this one, there's already somebody who has previously distributed these files just by hovering over these 2 little pop folder pages. If I select it, it automatically pops in Walter Workspace. If I wish to add somebody else in, like Arushan, just type in the name and I can add that in. And then I'm just going to upload. So that's a really, really cool feature that we've added in. So you can instantly right-click and auto-revise your files for yourself. Now, let's open up the file itself. You can see it's going to move now to revision 3. We'll open up the file so it's in our viewing screen. Okay. So whilst the file is opening up, there's a few things that we've added in here for you. So we'll go over to the right-hand side of the left-hand side of the screen. I'm getting confused with my lefts and rights today. And if I hit the panel button over here, you can see we've got some new things that we've added in. So if I go and hover over here, we've got thumbnails, which was already in our view. We've got outlines, but we've also got bookmarks. Now, what does this mean? This is a document that I've got, a Reba plan of work 2013. Now, I know, for example, the contents page is something that I need to look at and needs to be addressed within the next comments. I can click on my bookmarks page, hit new bookmark. It automatically saves page 3 as a new bookmark. I will say reword contents page. Oh, I'll take out the capitals. It feels like I'm shouting then. Reword contents page. And then hit save. That bookmark is already and automatically populated. Now, nothing stops me as the user just going through this and thinking, well, do you know what? Actually, Let's have a look. Oh yeah, project stages 0 to 7. We might need to reword that, or maybe move things around. I can go in and create another bookmark in here saying title. Okay, but you can play around with these and you can add in there what you'd like to bookmark, which is absolutely amazing. Another new feature that we've added in, this is a PDF document. Within this, we've now also added, as part of our 21.0 enhancements, we've got an embedded document feature. Now you can have a Word file within a PDF, which is great. So that's something else that we've added in as well. So you could have an Excel part as well within the document, within your PDF. So that's something that will be viewable within Asite as well. Brilliant. Whilst we're in this page, so I know looking at this, if I go across my top here, tells me what status the document is, tells me we're in revision 3. If I click on this drop down, as per usual, shows me my 3 different revisions. Now I would like to compare my 3rd revision versus my 1st revision. I can simply click on these 3 dots. As you can see, when I click on the 3 dots on the top right, you have the option to revise your file within the file itself, which is great. But as we go down, 3rd option down, compare file with. Now, if I hover over this and move across, it gives me the options of my other 2 revisions, which is great, absolutely great. Okay, I'm going to select revision 1. You can see it's automatically opening up another screen over here in the middle. So it's going to bring up my compare file screen. Where you are able to compare revision 1 and then revision 3. Now I'll navigate you guys over to the top right-hand corner of this screen. Now if you look, there's 4 little icons. If you hover over these, one of them will say side by side, which is exactly what these documents are doing. The next one will say overlay. Overlay is a great feature because it means the document will sit directly on top of each other. Any adjustments that have been made will be highlighted on the document. As we go across, you then also have the ability to just view the left document or just the right document. Now, please don't hesitate to contact your consultants and we can cover this through with you. But remember, you can right-click on your files, 3 dots over here, compare file with, and then you can view your revisions and it opens up another page. Using your icons over on the top right here, you can play around in what would you like to view within the comparing. When you scroll down, you automatically see it'll bring up all the different pages as we go through. So page 1, 2, 3, and 4, whatever, however many you've got. Brilliant. So to summarize what we've added in within our enhanced features, I'm just going to go back over to our files area. First things first, if you right click on your file, we've added in the ability to save as PDF. We've also added in the ability to revise your files from a right click, automatically new, and then revision takes you over to the files. If you revise an incorrect file to that, you will have a pop-up that says that file already exists with a different document reference. So that's good. It's a good little prompt for you as well. If you open the files themselves, you have got the ability to bookmark your pages just by clicking on the panel button over here. You can bookmark, and then you can also go across and you can compare your files with other revisions. So you can compare other revisions. Brilliant. Okay, so without further ado, let's go and have a look at the agenda and see what the next item on our agenda is. Now, the next item will be our field management upgrade. So do bear with me because I'm going to show this to you on a mobile device. Now, on the mobile device itself, so let's switch to the right screen. We've got our mobile device here, okay? Now, okay, helps if we're connected as well. So, we should be back in business now. Brilliant stuff. As you can see, this is the screen itself. So I'm going to enter full screen so you can see this. Now, I'm going to go over to my screen. I am using this on my mobile phone, okay? Now, you can imagine you're out on site, something's been sent to you, and you can view your drawings offline, which is really, really, really good, okay? We're logged in. As you can see the previous page, I selected the project I want. I'm going to go over to my documents page. I can see there's that Reba plan of works. In green, it's showing me what needs to be done. So these are my outstanding actions at present. Now I'm going to open this file just by clicking on it. And you can see it's now opening the document itself so you can view it also. So this should be our Reba plan of works. Now, as your screen pops up, you've still got your settings, but you can also mark up your files, okay? And to mark up a file, all you will have to do in our case is hit the, I'm going to scroll to a page where we might have a little bit of a, there you go. As you can see, I'm just literally scrolling through. And the screen is just scrolling down, so do bear with me. I'm just going to go to a screen where we've got a little bit of white in there. That's brilliant. Now we've got our document in front of us, okay? And you can zoom in and you can zoom out as you wish to. Now I'm going to click on the plus button over at the top there. You can see a pencil icon has appeared over on the right. Click on the pencil icon. A few things have now appeared. So, oh, sorry, there you go. Plus marker. There you go, our pencil's now appeared, okay? Now an icon's appeared, which is the rectangle. The rectangle at this point, you can see is now chosen for green color. If I wanted to change that, you just simply go in and select the one you want. The thickness of this rectangle will be in a 10 or an 8 at this point, okay? So we'll leave that 11, right? Top of the top right corner of my screen, there's a little tick bar. I can just click on that. And then now go onto my screen, I can just select that rectangle and draw it on my screen, okay? Now, if I'm happy and I'm done with that rectangle and I want to go in and add something else, another marker, I can simply do so by just clicking on it. So in this case, I'm going to show you the signature star. So you can see there's one there that says signature. I'm going to bin this signature for a moment, and I'm going to add a new signature so you can see. So I've got my signature, and I'm going to put SW, and then at the bottom you can see it says save. I'm going to hit create, okay? Now that I've done that, I can simply click on the screen and it's automatically populating my signature for me. Now I can make that smaller if I wish to, or I can leave it there as I want to. If I want to change the color of this signature, click on my paint palette, and then once I've clicked on the paint palette, I can just click on the color I want to change it to, and it automatically does it for me. And then I can hit the X button on the top. I can hit the floppy disk icon, the save now icon. It automatically tells me start discussion upon saving markup. And I'm going to call this one test 101 and save. Now what you'll notice is as I've saved this screen, at the top here it shows me we're creating a new A message. It's going to go to Arushan and to Sharline. If I want to add somebody else in, I'm going to type their names in. So I've got Lola in our case. Add Lola, okay? And then hit the close button. Type in the field that we want to. So we want to say test, please see markup. And then at the bottom, it automatically populates that test 101. And then all I can do is hit submit. This markup and this discussion has automatically gone onto this file. And this is something that you can do that we've added in as a 21.0 enhancement. Now, just to summarize what we've changed, what we've added in, you can view the documents on your mobile device, as you can see as I've done so. You can mark them up, you can comment on them, and you can save those comments. And once you get into an area where there is signal, over the top here, can you see there's a little arrow? It looks like a Wi-Fi signal and a return key. This icon will allow you to refresh and reconnect. Just have to be mindful, as we're doing this on a webinar, we needed the connection in our case. So that will be me for all the points in the agenda that I've covered. I will now hand you over to Lola and to Arushan, who will now cover the new CBIM capabilities. Thank you so much.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for that, Sharline. So as mentioned, I'm going to be taking you through the new improvements to the CBIM module, as well as some later on, we're going to be taking you through some really interesting stuff around new integrations with other platforms. Okay, so without further ado, let's jump straight into the platform. Okay, perfect. So let's jump into that. Okay, so let's open up a model itself. So here I have a particular file, which is an IFC file, which will open up in a separate tab in the model viewer. One of the key drivers, what we've done is taken on board client feedback in terms of how we can improve the CBIM module. And one of the key focuses for this particular release was on ensuring simplicity of the user interface and ease of use, with particular focus on removing that stigma around models being complicated and being a special skill. We want to remove that stigma. And so one of the first things you'll notice is the toolbar. We've redesigned the toolbar. We've reduced the height, giving you more screen space to view the model. But also you'll recognize the icons have been redesigned to be a lot more intuitive. And as you notice there, I was able to expand and collapse. So what we've done is we've grouped up the features into intuitive groupings. And essentially what you're able to do is if you select the icons, they will expand the options. And so this just gives you that the ability to only view options that you want to be able to see. So I could open up, so these are my navigations. Here are my visual styles, and I can of course also close them using that icon in the top right corner. Here I have my measurement tools, my markup tools, and I have my analysis tools. And these can be closed as I like, as such as well, expanded and collapsed. And one of the really smart things that we've done is if you, for example, I'm interested in navigation, and all I'm really interested in is in the measurement tools. What you'll notice is that what we do is we save the caches. So what this means is if I close the tab and I reopen the model, those options will remain expanded while the rest will remain collapsed. And so this is just another feature to make it easier for you and making that toolbar custom to suit your requirements as a user. Okay. So just going through the other thing that's worth noting here, so we've got the home button, so resetting you to home. So if you move the button, the model, it resets you to home. And then we've got reset. So if you make markups, if you highlight, this particular feature is really useful to reset, to undo the highlights. So the reset button, and here we have the model tree. The model tree is really interesting. What you'll be familiar with is this has traditionally been pinned to the left-hand side. But with this release, what you're able to do is unpin that model tree. And what you're able to do is you're able to move that model tree to suit your requirements. So it doesn't always have to be on the left-hand side. And this becomes really intuitive because now you can customize your UI, your user interface. Okay, and this particular unpinned version of the model tree can also be resized as such, as you can see here. So really can be customized to suit your requirements. This similar logic has also been applied to the right-hand side panel. So if I select the object manager, similar thing. If I unpin this, this will open up in a separate window, and you can move around the object manager to suit your requirements. And similar with all the icons. So you've got the object manager, you've got the view manager, you've got the A messages, the same thing. You can unpin them and move them to suit your requirements. So what you'll notice is you've got a lot more flexibility in the user interface, and hopefully a lot more intuitive for the end user, particularly those novice users, and hopefully encouraging more people to beginning to use the model viewer itself. Okay. Another thing you'll notice with the model tree is we've added an additional tab. So with this viewer, it's really useful to be able to look at individual files and break down the model tree by file type. But equally, it's also really useful to be able to view the models or the individual models by groupings of the type. So this is grouping the object types by the types, as opposed to by initially the file and then the individual object families and types and individual objects within that. So this is a much neater grouping. And of course, if you select these groupings, they automatically highlight on the model too, very, very quickly, as you can see here. So really, really neat feature, and just another way of representing the same object tree, essentially. Okay. So that was the key features around the improvements to UI. Actually, another key, really important improvement to the UI's interface has been around the markup tool. So when you create a markup, what you can do, which we introduced in the last release, is you're able to change the colors, you're able to resize the markup itself. But what we do now is we actually save that the formatting that you've applied. And so when I select another markup, that same formatting is reflected in the new markup. And this just is another tool to facilitate that the process of reviewing and marking up that model within the within our viewer. So that's the improvements that we made to the user interface within this release. Another key focus as part of this release, the CBIM module, was around the performance. In particular, the speed of from uploading a model to actually then being able to view that model. So we made improvements in several areas. So when you consider all general models, we support over 60 types of native file formats, and all of these models have to undertake this particular process called geometry conversion. And this geometry conversion, what we've done is we've made improvements to this process. So what you'll notice is with this release, we've reduced the speed by almost a quarter of what it used to be previously. So this just means that you get access to the models in much quicker than what you previously used to do, from the initial uploading to be able to view that model itself. In addition, we've also made improvements to how you manage IFC files. There's an additional process called merging when you're federating multiple IFC files together. So as part of this release, what we've done is we've allowed people to view the IFC file and the federated model while the merging process, which is the slight process that happens in the background, while that happens in the background. So this is just another tool to give you access to the federated model much quicker, in addition to the object properties, much quicker while that processing happens in the background. So one of the key focuses is to give you access to that model, and that's what we try to do in this release here. Okay. Also, another key feature that was worth mentioning here, or another key feature here as part of this release, is you'll notice that we introduced the ability to measure as part of the last release. And as part of that tool, we allowed you to measure point-to-point distances, angles directly on the model. In addition, we've extended that functionality to be able to measure areas. So if I click on this tool, what you're able to do, so for example, say I am a cost consultant and I want to measure the area of this particular window, I can click on each corner like this, 1, 2, 3, double click to finish that particular area measurement, and you'll see that this is 3 meters squared. And this, as you can see, can become a really powerful tool, particularly for cost consultants. Now, one of the things you can do is, this is in meters squared. You can, of course, calibrate that measurement so that it appears in a different unit, whether it's other metric units, or if you're used to using imperial units, you can also do that, and the measurement accordingly switches. So as I said, this is a powerful tool, and you can see the real benefits and potential for cost consultants to be able to directly take off the model itself. Okay. The final point I want to mention is around our support. So as I mentioned, we support over 60 types of native file formats. We've extended that as part of this release to also support point cloud data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select a point cloud file here, and what you'll notice is in particular what we can support is .pts files and .ptx file formats, which are really popular point cloud file formats in the industry. And what you can see here very quickly, I can see my model, my point cloud model here, and you can go in and scrutinize that model just like you would do with any other file formats, as you can see. Now, the way you render this particular point cloud can be adjusted, of course, in the analysis tool. So if I expand the analysis tools, you'll see an additional option in here. And this is an additional option. If I click on this, you can adjust the accuracy, so the distance between the points itself, so of which you interpret. You can adjust that accordingly. So let's say I want to interpret that over 0.001, or you can increase the distance over which you interpret accordingly. Additionally, you've got additional modes, which are basically different modes that can help optimize the viewing of that point cloud to suit your screen or your particular laptop or computer. So different renderings adjust the way that model is viewed, or that particular point cloud is viewed, as you can see here. So for my particular screen width seems to be best suited. And you also have the final opportunity, which is basically being able to add the natural colors that have been of those points themselves. Okay, and you can see the real benefits of being able to support now point clouds in a cloud-based viewer like Asite, because now you're able to capture those, whether it's existing assets using point cloud or it's as-built of assets that have been built. And what you're able to do is maintain that record within a cloud-based solution like Asite and being able to view those directly within Asite too. So there's real benefits to being able to view point cloud data within Asite. So that summarizes all the features that we've added to the CBIM as part of the CBIM enhancement. So what we've done is we have improved the user interface of the CBIM module. We've improved the performance. We've also added the ability to measure directly from the model in terms of area. And finally, we've also supported the point cloud data. The next feature the final piece I'm going to be talking to you about is our app integrations. Now, this is a really, really exciting part, really exciting part, because there's one of the key things for Asite is we're an open construction platform built on interpretability. So this has really been at the core from the very beginning. So as part of this vision, we're constantly looking and we want to work with similar-minded organizations. So as you heard earlier, we've had an integration with Power BI. Taking this further, another key integration has been, embracing that recent popularity with video conferencing. Okay, so what we have integrated with is things like Google Meet, Zoom, as well as Microsoft Teams. So all the popular video conferencing tools that are available at the moment. So I'm just going to switch back into the viewer and show you where these can be found. So right at the top, what you'll find is the blue ribbon, you'll find the video conferencing icon. And this is available even as you switch across the different tabs in Asite. So if I go and click on this, you'll have the different options to start a conversation or a video conference conversation directly from Asite. Now, on your first attempt to use this, what you will be prompted with is, say, let's start a conversation. You will be prompted to sign in. But once you've been asked to sign in and you've signed in and you've provided relevant acceptance, what you will be prompted with, you will be asked to provide permissions. You will be able to start conversations directly from Asite. So initially there will be, you'll have to sign in and make that integration or connection. But once you've done that, you can directly start a conversation from Zoom or on Teams or in Google Meet directly from Asite. Okay, and similarly, you can also start those conversations. So say I'm looking at a document and I want to, let's look at this Reba Planner Works. The same icon will be visible if I have a particular document open. So at the top, you'll notice here, you have the same opportunities to start a video conference call directly from here. So this is just an extension to the messages. You may directly want to start a video conference directly from the file. Similarly, you can do similar options will be available for forms. So if you open a form, the same icons will be available for forms in the top right corner to start a conversation. As you can see here, start a conversation directly from forms. Okay. Now, if you do need any further clarifications or further help around the integrations, the help guide is really useful, provides really useful guidance on how this integrations works and how this can work for you. And there is also some frequently asked questions at the base of these help guides. So let's say I'm looking at MS Teams. You'll see Asite, Microsoft Teams integration, and all of them have a help guide, and you'll see it'll take you step by step with the pictures provided to go through the permissions and the requirements to set up that integration. So it's pretty straightforward. And there is also at the bottom, there's also some frequently asked questions right at the bottom just to help you through that process. Okay, but if you do get stuck, always reach out to your customer success consultant for further guidance on the integration. Okay. Another integration that's not listed on here, but that's worth mentioning, is we've also made integrate. We're working with a company called 3D Reaper, which is a tool that enables you to view models and manage issues around those 3D models. And as part of this integration, it's a phased approach. The first phase, which is currently live, you're able to push IFC files directly from Asite into 3D Reaper via a Groovy script. Okay, so it's through a system task, so through the workflows. And guidance on this integration is also available in the help guide. The second phase, which we're working on at the moment, we'll be looking at being able to push and pull issues that are created either in Asite or 3D Reaper, and it's bi-directional, those issues. And we will base that on BCF itself, so the open standard for issue management, which is BCF. So look out for that, which will be coming soon. So that's everything I wanted to cover in terms of app integration. Let me hand over to Lola to take you through the final concluding thoughts.
Thanks, Arushan. So that concludes our 21.0 release. Big thank you to Sharline and Arushan and all of you for joining us. If you have any more questions regarding the platform, please don't hesitate to contact customer support team. Whether your questions are related to your account or you'd like to find out how you can make the most out of your Asite workspace, please reach out to customer success. So once more, if it's about the platform, customer support, if it's about your workspace or any of the features we've covered in this webinar, customer success. Additionally, if you're interested in training or refreshing your skills, you can check out our A-Learning freemium modules, which can be found on the platform by clicking the help button and then selecting A-Learning. Thank you so much for watching and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.